Ahead. I have 6:31 on Thursday, December 4th, 2025. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Historic Commission meeting of said day. With that, Franco, could you take the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Kruger?
Here.
Commissioner Feck is absent. Commissioner Reyes-Braher?
Here.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Here.
Commissioner Hurd?
Here.
And Chair Brunner.
Here. Okay, quorum has been met. So moving on to our first item of business, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 2nd, 2025 as provided in the packet?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 2nd, 2025.
I second it.
Okay.
Any edits, any discussion? Anything we need to change, or does it look good?
It was good. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Feck? I'm sorry.
You.
Excuse me. We'll be waiting a long time for that. Commissioner Reyes-Braher?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick? Yes. Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner.
Yes. Fantastic. On to the next item, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience looking to make a comment on public or items on the agenda or non-agenda items? There is no one in the audience, so we will.
We'll save that for later. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to our first item of business, which is going to be a public hearing for a request of consideration of a motion for a recommendation to the village board for a text amendment to Chapter 157 of the Village of East Dundee zoning ordinance in Section 157003, rules and definitions, to add pawnbroker and to allow pawnbroker as special use in the B2 and B3 business districts, as described in Section 157050F1C1 of the zoning ordinance in East Dundee, Illinois 60118. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for a request of consideration of a motion for recommendation to the village board on text amendment to Section 157 of the Village of East Dundee zoning ordinance?
I'd like to make the motion that we open the public hearing.
Okay, give a second.
A second?
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes. Okay, first, Franco, do we have any correspondence on this item from the community, either via phone, mail, or email?
No.
Okay. The village is the petitioner for this hearing, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Could you please provide a summary of the justification and reason for the petition?
Sure. The village code, as it is, doesn't define what a pawnbroker is. As stated in the state statute, or as you and I call it, a pawn shop. We wanted to go ahead and make a consideration for the board of making these special uses in the B2 and B3. And as part of that, we'd also include a pawnbroker definition. Should the village board adopt this, there would also be a corresponding chapter to be created before the village board for their consideration. A whole new chapter of the code that is very similar to like massage establishments that you guys were familiar with.
Yes.
It'll be its own separate one with licensing requirements and other state code requirements.
Okay. Was there a reason why the other business districts were excluded?
The B1 was excluded because of the character of the downtown that we were seeking to keep, as well as B4, as that's more automotive related, whereas B2 and B3 appeared to have compatible uses for this type of use.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for?
Is there any special interest on a pawn?
I've heard a few people discuss it, but nothing has been submitted to me. And over the years, I've heard inquiries, but they never moved forward.
So there was never a pawn shop there by the
We
barber
have-
shop.
There was a pawn shop, a Able Pawn,
Yeah.
where Luna's is.
So we
Right there.
didn't have any guidelines at that time.
Correct, and because I believe, right, Franco, the way it works, since we didn't have anything on the books, pawn shops are legal in Illinois, so
Okay.
they could be anywhere.
So we didn't have anything to do now. Okay, got it.
So now we're saying this is where they specifically can be, and this is where they have to apply for a special use.
Which B2 and B3 is a large footprint of the business district.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the zoning map. to promote
Yeah, it's
the
along the
social
main
plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
roads,
Mhm.
essentially. With, and I should add that, as a refresher, the PUDs out east, were for the Joe Palumbo sites.
Mhm.
As part of their PUDs, they have the rights granted to have the same type of uses permitted in B2 and 3 in their PUD,
Got it.
even though they're zoned M1. So it's a long, extensive geographic footprint of where these uses are permitted.
Thank you.
Are there more facts we'd like to discuss? Questions in regards to fact finding here in the public hearing?
Not in regards to fact finding.
Okay, I don't have anything else, so
No.
I have a motion to close the public hearing.
A motion to close the public hearing?
Second it?
Okay, Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Herr,
Yes.
and Chair Brunner.
Yes. So we can discuss before we make the motion.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think I was talking with Commissioner Herr a little bit. I believe you may have some comments that you would like to make in regards to the selection of the districts.
Yeah, I do. I could comment based on a couple of different things, but as I look at the map, as you guys were just doing, it seems to me that B2 is generally focused along the main thoroughfare that's coming into the village. It's one of the main things that people see when they're driving through the village. And so despite it not being the B1 kind of historic downtown area, it's still a very visible region. As I compared it to some other local municipalities like West Dundee and St. Charles, their business districts are ordered in a pretty similar way, having a downtown, having kind of a main thoroughfare, and then having sort of an extended, kind of boundary area for businesses. And each of them kept pawn stores, pawn shops related to their version of what we would call B3. I think, even apart from what they do, I think that makes a whole lot more sense for us to keep it in B3 to preserve not only the downtown character, but also the visible character of the main thoroughfare coming into the village. There are obviously some B2s that are in that kind of north-south 25 region that potentially, would fit where I would think would be fine for a pawnbroker, but are not currently zoned B3. Maybe they would need to be rezoned if it came up, but my personal suggestion, the way I would intend to move would be that we limit it to B3.
So keep it off the main visual and stick where the massage parlor is, maybe
Yeah, I think.
off somewhere else.
Well, yeah, I'd mirror Commissioner Herr's
Yeah.
thoughts and statements. The Dundee Mall, that's B3. When
Yeah,
I'm thinking
okay,
of a
got it.
business like this, that would be appropriate.
Yes, right.
Not technically like a brick and mortar in our downtown where it's walking, where
Exactly.
you're dining next door to a pawn shop. It
No.
doesn't seem to fit.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's particularly the B2s west of Van Buren.
Right.
Are the ones that, where this pawn shop was before, which was up by
Yeah.
Randy's place, that's fine. That building isn't a nice, it's not part of the walking downtown, It's
True.
out in setback
Yeah.
and different.
And if you go down that street, I don't think anybody looks to the right.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's the thing, right now, B2, they're all B2. And that's you know. So, the options I guess we could have, right? I mean, they are special use. And we could say, and this is maybe something where the lawyer could add some comments, we could likely cite our comprehensive plan to say that the properties there west of Van Buren aren't appropriate due to not lining up with our comprehensive plan. But then we would have to deal with rejecting special uses, right?
Yeah, well, the board would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or we could potentially go with just a special use for B3, and then especially like these ones on 25, if somebody wanted to put a pawn shop in there, they could ask for it to be rezoned.
Right.
Right, I don't see why we wouldn't rezone some of those B2s if the owner wanted us to, like these. You know, yeah.
Sure.
I think those are our options,
Mhm.
right? The village attorney, do you have any comments on an approach for this?
So I'm just looking at the map right now, and I understand exactly what the point that Commissioner Herr was making, and that the question, or the kind of the distinction that you're raising is that you would allow it in B2s, but not west of Van Buren, which really is kind of the B2s that are in the downtown core, south of Main Street. Is that where, is that?
I think that's at least the point I raised. I don't know if everyone agrees with that. I think those are the ones we're most concerned about.
Right.
I think it's worth noting
Just B3.
that this is B2, correct?
It's the red.
That one's B3.
Red is
actually.
B2,
Okay.
B3
Okay,
is
that's-
magenta.
That's the old.
That's the old D'Angelo,
thing
yeah.
that's owned by the church now, so
Which-
I don't think that's gonna be
Yeah.
developed.
Do they?
Maybe.
Okay. well, maybe no more.
Right, yeah, just 10 years, we don't know.
Right here.
Oh, yeah. That's a
D'Angelo
little
water,
longer.
so that's a
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
that's a weird one, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is yes. You could make that distinction and basically say that it is allowed in B2 except if you're west of Van Buren. There are other ways that you could approach this. You could put separation requirements, which would say that, you know, you can't have, you know, you can have these by special permit, but no more, that, you know, it can't be within 2,500 feet of another one. So you don't have concentrations. You could also conceivably limit the number of ones, the business licenses that you issue for
I
these
like
types. The reason that the villages like to have a separate business license for pawnbrokers is one that they're, you know, depending on what your intention there are when you go in there, it's either a retail experience or a financial institution. Either you're going to get money out of there or to buy something that someone pledged.
Yeah.
And so it's a strange hybrid use, and many police departments prefer to have some conditions on the license, like they can go in there and basically check the records, because sometimes these things end up as fences for stolen goods.
Right.
And so that's, you know, that's the main reason why you'd have a separate business license category for it. And also, you might want to limit the concentration of these, because they do, depending on how tightly the police department wants to regulate them, it does put a little bit of a burden. Somebody's tasked
Yeah.
with, you know, tasked with actually doing the regulation on this. So you actually have, as a home rule municipality, you have a lot of ways
Yeah.
you can skin this cat.
So I think, you know, hearing that, I lean more towards just the B3 thing then.
But separating it into only allowed in B3.
Yeah.
Yep.
A special use, but only, that would only be allowed in B3.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, I
You know, we
completely
could-
agree.
You know,
B3. Keep it further away, and I like also limiting the amount of licenses for that as well.
So, like I said, you can do that in just, you know, limiting the number of licenses that the village issues. That's purely a decision of the village board. But from a zoning perspective, if you wanted to add in as a land use perspective that, you know, you put a separation requirement that they, you know, you can't have one within 2,500 feet of another one, that's a land use control, and that's something you guys could recommend.
Okay.
feet. We have such a small town.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing.
That makes it one.
And that's how some communities done with cannabis dispensaries.
Yeah.
They just
Right.
said, we're gonna have, you can have as many cannabis dispensaries, but they can only be, they can't be within 5,000 feet of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do we have, okay, so it sounds like we're gonna change, from the recommendation. Do we want to say just B3, or do you want to do B3 and some of these other recommendations, like, perhaps having the board consider having a distance requirement,
The,
or
the,
spacing
the
requirement?
separation, yeah, I would like that.
Yeah,
The recommendations for that.
I'd like a recommendation of the distance rather than setting a number,
yeah,
recommending a number of businesses. I wouldn't be able to think of a number that would be appropriate, but I
Yeah.
think a distance
One.
is something that we as a
One.
board could decide on.
okay,
And I like the 2,500 feet. It just,
okay,
when you think about what that distance is, I think it'd be appropriate.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is if we ever find that this ends up being too restrictive for some reason, we have the opportunity to change it, right? It's easier to do that than, restrict something that,
It's already been open.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so, I would like to move, I would like to make a motion to recommend to the village board for a text amendment to chapter 157 of the Village of East Dundee zoning ordinance section 157.003 rules and definitions to add pawnbroker and to allow pawnbroker as a special use in the B3 business districts as described in section 157050F1C1, the zoning ordinance in East Dundee, Illinois 60118, with the additional recommendation that no two pawnbrokers may be within less than 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet of each other.
Right.
I'd second that.
Okay.
Was that a motion or you were asking?
I did the motion.
Okay.
That's how I heard it.
Would you like me to take that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner?
Yes. Yeah, I know, I mixed it up there by doing it myself.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I just wasn't sure.
I think it was perfect. You
Okay.
did a good job.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Okay. Okay, so, moving on to our next item of business. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for a request of consideration for a motion for recommendation to the village board for a text amendment to to chapter 157 of the Village of East Dundee zoning ordinance in section 157.003 rules and definitions to add short-term rental to allow short-term rental as a permitted use in E, R1, R2, and R3 residence districts as described in section 157.030A1D3 and to allow short-term rental as P permitted use in the B1, B2, B3 business districts as described in section 157050F1D3 of the zoning ordinance of East Dundee, Illinois 60118.
A motion to open short rentals.
Second.
Thanks.
Was that Myers?
That's me.
Okay. Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
And Chair Brunner?
Yes. Okay, so Franco, did we receive any correspondence electronically or via mail in regards to this issue?
We did, and village attorney, how does that get shared with the PZHC? It's a email.
I saw that today, and I think the answer is, depending on how long it is, if it has not been printed out and shared, do you have a rule for when how public comments can be submitted?
It would be submitted anyway. We're pretty open, but this would be the time to say the public comments.
You can read it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know,
yeah.
if, Chair, if you want to read it out loud.
I can
do
read-
if you want.
I can read it.
Okay.
I do a lot of reading here.
If you want to pass it on, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Want me to read it?
Point of information.
Oh, yeah.
Would it be possible to email it to us so that we can
Yes,
follow
of
along,
course.
or is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Good thing.
perfectly happy for an allowed reading, but I'd like
Yeah,
to.
Sure,
the
sure.
correspondence came today, this afternoon, so.
Nice. Someone's paying attention to the
Yeah.
village email.
I believe it's the staff's inclusion in the newsletter that gets people
Yeah.
involved.
I happened to see it because I got here at 6:15 and there was no one here. All the lights were off and I'm like, did this get canceled?
What day is it today?
Yeah. So I checked my thing to see if Franco had.
Changed it.
I am here.
I'm here.
All right, it has been sent.
Okay.
Cool.
There you go, Charlie.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to begin. My name is Jan Andre, and I have lived at 210 East 2nd Street since 1984. I am unable to attend tonight's board meeting, but I am hoping you will relay my concerns about the short-term rental proposal. I tried to call you, but didn't leave a message as the phone number provided did not match the one on the voicemail. I do apologize for leaving my comments until the last minute, but I am hoping you understand the chaos brought on by family, holidays, and weather that has made it difficult to attend board meeting this evening. I'm not opposed to short-term rentals in the business districts. I am opposed to the concept of being implemented in the residential areas. We have a very small village that has made smart and innovative decisions for a vibrant downtown area. We draw people from outside of our own community to utilize our restaurants and bars and soon, hopefully, an entertainment district. People envy my husband and me for our proximity to the fun. That being said, we live in a neighborhood, one with pride of ownership, one where neighbors take in each other's mail, water their gardens, shovel their snow, provide support in good and bad times. We know one another. We know the names of the adults and kids who live nearby, and we know each other's phone numbers. We know that care we give to our property reflects not just on us, but on all of us. We are our community. Owners of short-term rentals have none of those advantages, or perhaps more importantly, ties to the community. Neighbors of homes utilized for short-term rentals have none of those advantages either. As stated above, we live in a very small village where nearly all have pride of ownership. What is the gain to the village to allow short-term rentals? What level of commitment will the village require of landlords of said rentals to maintain the homes and the behavior of those renting to the village standards? What measures will be taken to ensure those renting said homes will comply with village ordinances? Is the board aware that towns that have allowed short-term rentals have some very unhappy neighbors living in proximity to those homes? Do we really need this to improve the quality of life in the residential areas of our little town? I am respectfully asking that these concerns be addressed during the discussion of the proposal to allow short-term rentals in the village, specific to the residential areas. I am sorry I could not reach you by phone. Sincerely, Jan Andre.
There you go. Okay, so I think we'll have Franco then provide the overview of why we're asking for it. Try to keep the content of that email in your mind, so that we can go back and maybe we'll review the points, once we have the overview from the village staff.
Sure. So, again, as you saw in the memo, this was part of the overall village board agenda item, where at the last meeting they discussed short-term rentals and the potential taxes associated with that. So in order to establish an amendment to the taxes and in order to establish regulations on this, a public hearing was needed, creating where the short-term rentals would be located and a definition. So as part of that overall, there would also be additional licensing and inspections required by village staff for said short-term rentals. We do know that there are some going on right now in the village, and the purpose is to get them, compliance and inspections, and just to keep a record of where they're at. Staff proposed the business districts and the residential districts for your consideration as where these are potentially already existing and
Yeah.
occurring.
Okay, so my understanding is, in order to do any type of rental, you're supposed to have a license with our village, right?
A rental license and inspection is required for
Right.
rental units.
And and right now, we don't have any, is just long-term rental? a permitted
Exactly,
use?
those are the long-term rentals. rentals. This would be for short-term, shorter than 30 days.
Yes.
Separate type of inspection.
So presently, right now, are people doing like Airbnb out of their house in compliance with our code as it is presently written?
I don't think we have a Airbnb type inspection for there to be compliance.
Right, so they're not, so these, I mean, you're aware, but they didn't apply for any?
We don't have anything to apply to yet.
Yes, so pretty much right now, kind of like we were talking with pawnbrokers, you would say anybody who wants to be doing a short-term rental could be doing a short-term rental
But we
with
don't-
no oversight.
But we don't know them.
We don't know.
So there was a neighbor down the street, 3 houses down. I live on Bike Path, 2nd Street. So
Mhm.
3 houses down, there was a guy from Barrington. He bought a house for his son. He didn't want it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he only kept it for less than a year. And he had people like who had weddings at the Bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're staying there. I didn't even notice anything. I mean, they had no problems with, I mean, they weren't like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I never had any problems. And that was like, he finally sold it and somebody bought it who lives there now. But I'm just saying, I don't think you guys knew about that.
Yeah, yes.
But I didn't have any problems, that's my point.
Right. So what is, I guess, okay, so we'll keep this
Yeah.
to the fact finding right now.
Right.
So I can ask some more about, I'll have some more later. And then the special use section, if this is, the fact that you want permitted and not special use is because there's gonna be a broader thing coming up?
There's going to be a licensing requirement.
Oh, okay.
So if there's non-compliance to the licensing, then they can be issued citations, and if it becomes a problem, it'll go through the adjudication problem.
So you got 3 strikes, you could lose your license to
Yeah.
rent your property to Airbnb.
I don't know how exactly the adjudicator works versus fines, fees, and then it escalates from there.
Yeah.
Really depends on how you set it up, and honestly, it's a lot easier to pull a business license than to take someone to court over a zoning violation.
Okay.
And it just, usually zoning violations, do you guys have administrative hearings?
We do.
Okay, so local administrative adjudication, you can get a lot more done with licensing. The other issue is that every time there's a special, if you wanted to allow something by a special use, then you have to have, public hearing, notify the neighbors. That gets very contentious very quickly with short-term rentals, for obvious reasons. It's the same reasons, though, that you might want to not allow them in your
Yeah, right.
residential. But if you do want to allow them, turning it into a special use creates the ability for neighbors to kind of put the kibosh on maybe something a way that someone who's a snowbird was allowed to, was able to pay for their rent. I've seen communities absolutely shut this down. I've seen communities be very permissive, and there's no, I'm not going to tell you the right way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the legal way to do it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you for
then
that.
there is also the option, of course, I didn't see it called out here, but where the homeowner is living there and renting out a room.
Very much so.
We definitely have a village, if you've looked at our comprehensive plan, we have a very small number of residents per house. We have a lot of open bedrooms in our town.
Right.
And especially if you're on a fixed income, maybe that would be an option you would want to do, rent out a bedroom that's totally vacant. And that would fall, you could do that on Airbnb,
Mhm.
right?
Sorry, Chair, are we in the discussion?
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
not yet.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that's
I'll keep
another thing to
going,
consider.
Because I'll keep talking if we
Yeah,
are.
yeah, so we don't need to maybe make a judgment on that, but that is, I want that out in here. That's a use, to her point, like why would you want to do that? That could be something we have residents who would want to do that,
Agreed.
in a residential zone, because it's their property and they're gonna live in it. But-
Are we aware of like the number that's going on right now? How many homes are being Airbnb?
I know that there's a few. My in-laws have stayed at a couple of them.
Is there? Okay.
Yep, yeah, I'm gonna guess that there's 5 to 10 in East Dundee.
Yeah.
It always changes
So
seasonally,
very
as
small.
you would imagine.
Yeah.
They can pull it off, if you, like our attorney
No.
said, if you're gone for a month, or you're working somewhere, you can throw it on there, or you can black out dates. It's very flexible.
But like
It gives the
currently,
owner.
has there been any issues with with rentals,
Or with-
Airbnbs that we know of?
Or with police?
I
filming?
don't have any updates from the police, sorry.
So, yeah, so I look, the upsides that we have here would be giving an opportunity for our, you know, for our residents and, oh, yeah, and,
Thanks.
and then obviously the additional tax revenue we would get as a village. Because we'd be able to, if they're using a service, we'd
Right.
be able to ask that service like we do with streaming, right?
Right.
Is
Mhm.
it just a straight sales tax or
Yeah.
like a 9% or something?
It's part of the hotel tax. It's an amendment to our existing hotel tax.
Yeah, so another revenue source.
Yeah, there's positives to it. And another negative that our neighbors of the West Dundee considered, in Tartan's Glen, behind Jewel Osco, it's not what you would think Airbnb type of community would be. Some worries that were brought up is if you have a house that has a nice in-ground pool and you have we'll call it a party pad, and somebody on a Friday or Saturday night wants to rent it for one night, that neighbor or neighborhood might not embrace that type of activity, a single night rental. So then opens up a discussion of, all right, do we limit it to needs to be more than one night? We have bricks here that people would be benefiting off of.
Right.
A wedding night, people might not want to rent more than one night. So
Right.
then you can separate where you can get it, and that's where West Dundee fell, is let's keep this in our business district only.
Yeah.
So they had to rezone a couple
Oh.
of buildings that were going to be
Yeah.
short-term rental only.
Yeah, the lofts,
You got it.
right
And-
there.
and a few
then
other,
they have the
yep.
boutique over there by
Yep.
the
Yeah.
village
Oh,
hall.
actually, I like
It's
that.
really cute. It's well done. It's well
You
done.
can do these things right, and you can do these things wrong.
Very nice.
Yep.
Yeah, West Dundee also has a bed and breakfast specific call out, right, from the
Right.
manor,
Right.
or not the man, what is the mansion? Why am I forgetting the name?
I think it's called the Mansion.
Yeah.
Yes, it is,
I
the
think there
mansion.
would be a difference, like if you had an Airbnb where the owner of the home actually resides there and rents out a room
Mhm.
versus renting the whole
Place.
house to, you know, like a party weekend, you know, that would just kind of invite trouble.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I think clearly too is Jan, correct? I think she would be fine with, or she would probably be okay. I don't want to say, I'll say probably, if the homeowner was there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Because then people have skin in
Yeah,
the game,
yeah.
and they're not
It's-
gonna
Right.
trash the house.
And
Yeah.
another way to look at it, we have ordinances for a reason. If your neighbor's blasting music at 1 in the morning,
Mhm.
you call 911.
Yeah,
The police
they
are obligated to go and take care of it.
Yeah.
Whether that's a rental or not,
Right.
that's why we have those.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
And that would be part of the citation issued.
right.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't want to, myself personally, I don't think I want to get into the thought and process of further limiting people what they can do with their businesses and properties.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why somebody would want next door, so I see all sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have anything else we need in the public hearing?
I guess, sorry, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, yeah.
Maybe like, if there's a limited amount of people, you know, like, I think there was something, right? Maybe 3 to 4 people said
There
per
would
room
be
or
in the
something like that?
regulations with the license, the amount of
Okay,
people.
that's what I
Because of the
wanted to-
bedrooms, going off the bedrooms and the bathrooms.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
So it's not like 20 people?
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's
Well, you
tricky.
won't know about it.
It's,
Yes.
It's too late.
I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure it gets,
When we
there's a
get-
limit.
On the registration. it
Yes, of
says
course.
XYZ.
Yes, it's gonna be there.
Okay,
Correct.
okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
almost fine line.
okay. So, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes. Okay, so let's first talk about the business. I think we're all fine with the business,
Mm-hmm,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we can say that's permitted in the business. Now, for the residential, are we thinking like special use for this? Or are we thinking permitted? Are we, what are the thoughts? Based on what we just discussed.
What worries me about a special use is somebody coming to us granting it or not granting it, or the board for that matter, whoever's
Yes.
granting that.
Mhm.
And then it would be very hard to change what we did for that person. It would seem unfair if we were to
Say
go
no,
that route.
no one, no yes.
Picking and choosing
Right,
Yeah.
right.
seems like a bad
Well, I
Yes,
think,
sir.
so the counterpoint to this, the biggest reason for me was special use. It is actually what our attorney brought up, is, you know, it gives you the neighbors, if the neighbors don't want it in the community, then, you know, they can push against that. And we have different types of neighborhoods in our town.
Very much so.
And there could be one where people are like really cool with that.
Mhm.
You know, I know right by me, I live right by a bar. There's a certain type of people who are willing to live right by a bar.
You got
right?
it.
And they might be more into this, you know,
Totally.
whereas if it's, you know, in a quieter, you know, like up, you know, away from all of the crazy, then they're maybe looking for something a little more quiet, and the community decides around them that, yeah, we just kind of don't want this here. I know we have a similar type of thing, you know, where communities get to decide, like, if you want a speed bump in town, you know, you can get your neighbors enough, you know, to sign up for that and look to get something like
Petition
that.
it.
A petition for it,
Yes,
yeah. But
okay.
anyway, it allows, you know, some type of agency, I think, for the neighborhood.
Right.
That's why I would do the special use, not for more hoops, but so that, you know, it's not like someone just sees a house for sale, comes in and puts in an Airbnb, and all the other neighbors are like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
So, one other aspect that hasn't really been raised, I was doing some comprehensive plan reading today. Quoting the plan, about 14.8% of existing land use in East Dundee is comprised of residential uses. So we're a really small village, and 14.8% of a really small village is a really small area. One thing that short-term rentals bring is, unless it's one of these renting a room type things, is a loss of real estate from the market. And hence a loss of a single family or whatever kind of dwelling. There's lots of language in the comprehensive plan about providing different uses for housing and also protecting the community's single family residential character. So if we do have a single family residential character, I think movements that are going to replace single family dwellings with short-term rentals aren't protecting that single family residential character. So I could go on and quote a bunch of other stuff, but I would throw my hat towards the special use.
Yep.
So, but you're still even for it. I thought you were gonna say you didn't want it at all.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded
That's
like.
what it sounded like.
I'm trying to be genteel.
Yeah. Hmm. Are there other comments, thoughts, that we want to add on to what John was just saying?
I guess I do like the idea of special use mainly because some neighbors probably, without knowing, right, how the people that are going to come in are going to react. You would, for the majority, I think it's fairly quiet, but you always get that one person that,
Well, say where you live, there's nobody there except, well, that one neighbor.
just a
is-
deer.
That's another one.
yeah, that's a
That's a different story, never mind.
So I would lean more towards the special use and
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Would the special use be only in the residential zones, or would our business district, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I think just residential.
Yeah,
zones.
I'd agree with
Yeah.
that.
Right, residential, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, do we want to call out anything like, so I know like on my street, I don't have a lot of houses on my street, but there are, you know, at least 2 rentals, there might be more. So, and those are full-time rentals, right, you know?
Yeah, they're
no-
long-
normal
yeah,
rentals,
yeah,
long-term
long-term,
rentals
yeah.
with a lease.
Yeah.
But like, for those people, like, let's say their tenants move out and now they have a gap. You know, I think it would be nice if they could rent it, you know, while they're trying to find a new tenant.
I think it's their right to.
Yeah.
My beliefs.
Yeah, so it's something that maybe we would want, yeah, and I would feel, yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. It's easy to see both sides.
Yeah.
And that's what's hard about making a decision.
Yeah, because I think we have a lot of rentals in town, not short term perhaps,
No.
but I mean, there are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot. So a lot of people.
Well,
think it's-
a good way to meet in the middle
Didn't know
is
that.
that special use.
Oh, yeah.
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 I didn't know we had that many rentals in the village.
Short term or long term?
Long term.
Long-term we do.
Yeah.
We do? Okay.
We-
I thought it was
And
more
getting
like,
bigger.
What
There's
is
a
the
house.
percentage of rentals?
When they knock on
versus-
Hager?
Yes,
There's a house
exactly.
down the street.
It's-
It's always
Yeah.
running around.
I mean, we need to get them all to like sign up, and I don't think
There's
they all
one
sign
kitty
up,
corner.
but,
Right.
yeah, it's just,
That's Section 8
you know, you can,
from me.
I think it's hard to actually figure it out, just walking around, because the people who rent in our neighborhoods
Yeah.
really love the neighborhoods. I mean, they treat it like they're, you know,
Right?
this is their
It's
home.
a destination village.
You know, I mean, there's one.
It's like a long-term rental.
Yeah, but you know, like there's this one. It's a couple just moved in. You know, one of the houses flipped this last. You know, the tenants flipped like 2 months ago, and they're like so excited to be here. Like, you know, like, and we might do a rent to own, things like that. I mean, so. I
Everybody
think
loves
the-
Dundee,
Yeah.
okay?
That's
no,
what we want.
it is a.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been here
Yeah.
forever.
So the renter, yeah. So I mean, you know, we want to give.
And to Jan's defense, you know, like what she said was, I was like so touched by it.
Mhm.
You know, your neighbors shoveling your snow,
Mhm.
knowing their phone numbers, you know, keeping that
Yeah.
neighborhood
Yeah.
feel.
Community.
I never had that in Chicago.
Mhm.
I only had that here.
Right.
You know, so when they were saying that, it was just like I understood where that
Yeah.
person was coming from.
We had that where I lived, but everybody grew up and left. The kids are gone and now it's
Yeah.
just old people.
I think if we had like the short-term rentals where the owner of the home would rent a room,
Young people.
I don't think there'd be any problem with that,
No.
you know?
So.
So that'd be nice if we had that available, but what we're trying to stop is somebody just renting a
Yeah.
place for the weekend to party and,
Right.
you know.
So we'll have the
disturb
license.
neighbors.
I think part of our challenge here too, Franco, is we don't get to see the whole picture on this hearing.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
right? So,
Mhm.
If we had more statistics on how
More
many are
context.
rentals, how many
Data?
are
Well,
short-term
what-
rentals.
and their whole plan, like they're gonna go and write this whole
Mhm.
plan about
Oh.
Yeah.
it
Right.
after we approve this. So we
Right.
don't
Right.
see what
So,
it
yeah,
is.
We don't
it's
have
nice
to- yeah, we don't
nice
have
to
to
have
have
all that
And,
information.
you know, I think one of the things that often we struggle with from the legal side and then from the administration side is, you know, what falls under a land use control versus what falls under licensing.
Mhm.
And I think that you are all free to talk about these things, create a record, and say, you know, we understand that our purview is about land use,
Mhm.
but at the same time, here are controls or here are things that we would be concerned about that might mitigate some of our concerns. That if we are to allow it, you know, in residential areas, we would like to see in the licensing that you can only, you know, it has to be where an owner lives on premises.
Mhm.
I'm not saying to do that, but that's something that I have seen in other communities.
Mhm.
I have seen limitations like you cannot do single night rentals to avoid party houses. Now, that might be something that you would like to allow in downtown, especially if you have event venues and things like that.
That's a good
But you
point.
wouldn't want
Right.
to have necessarily outside of downtown where you have a bunch of 18-year-olds. You know, if you have residential areas that are close to the river and they just want to,
Right.
get stupid.
So get in trouble?
Yeah.
As the father of a 16-year-old, I'm shuddering right now.
Yeah.
And so there are things that you could recommend, and we might say maybe that belongs in the zoning code, maybe it belongs in the licensing,
Mhm.
but it's fair to talk about those things.
Sure, right.
Mhm.
Especially if they're mitigating concerns that would otherwise allow you to put, you know, to feel comfortable putting this in some other districts.
I like the point that he brought up. In our downtown district,
Yeah.
you have a lot more freedom, but in a residential, you can't do single night rentals.
Well, right, and I think, you know, when we talk about what we're trying to do with our downtown area, right, we want more, you know, you've heard our activities in the past trying to get more dense housing down there, more people down there to go to our.
We wanna
go
embrace
right-
this.
We want to embrace that, and we know right now also it generates a lot of noise. So yes, you know, I've always kind of thought having a buffer, you know, if you have a buffer of residents, you know, these short-term rentals, they kind of want the noise when
Yeah.
they're there, you know, and then they're absorbing the noise for the actual, you know, full-time residents, you know, up the road. And then it would be a good synergistic use. So yeah, that, again, I think a good use for the special use because we don't have zoning set in a way that we could do it just with a specific zoning district to do that. You know, it's, our residential's kind of mixed around.
Yeah, they really are.
you know, because we could technically, I mean, yeah, it's interesting how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Could I ask a question of the attorney?
yeah,
So, related to the pawnbroker thing, you mentioned the putting a cap on the number of licenses. Is there a comparable thing with
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I've seen that in some communities. A community that I was formerly corporation counsel for. This discussion dragged out, I think, over 5 different meetings because they had, it was Waukegan, it was right by Great Lakes Naval Station, and they had a lot of these. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think of Waukegan as a place that had that because of Great Lakes Naval Station.
Yeah.
You had a lot of families coming in for graduations.
Sure.
Right.
And so they have a lot of, they actually do not have a ton of hotels in that area. So there was a number of owners of these and operators who kind of turned into a very significant lobbying bloc who lobbied against that. But it would be absolutely legal to say you have to do a separation. The problem is that benefits a first mover. So, you know, if someone does it and, you know, you say it can't be within 250 feet, then your neighbors can't do it, and that can get contentious. There's always trade-offs, though, in policy. So yes, I think you could absolutely do that. I think the city of Chicago has limitations on how many units in a single building. It can never exceed more than 10 or 20% in a single building. And there's obviously a lot of concerns in Chicago about preserving their hotel tax and preserving hotels. So you can see like the apartment buildings, you know, in the South Loop that are walking distance to Soldier Field. There's a lot of concerns about those, too many of those being used. So that was a long answer to a short question. Yes.
Great points.
Yeah. So, so are we settled, I think, on the base recommendation of special uses in residential and permitted use in business?
I
Correct.
think so, yeah.
Okay. And then are there other things we want to add to the recommendation? I mean, we have everything on record. It's why I love that we get to talk and they can
And
go
as we
and
should.
listen and,
Yeah.
and, you know, all the trustees can see what we talked about. You know, we're going to likely spend more time talking about this in this meeting than they will in their item when it comes in. So it's good for them to have, I think, all this extra reference discussion. But is there anything else that we want to add?
I mean, I think there are lots of different things we could add. That might mean knowing a little bit more about what the rest of the draft that
Yeah.
they're going to put forward is. You know, things like if it's a multi-unit dwelling, you know, not a single-family residence, and someone wanted to do one apartment, I don't have any problem with that. You know, so there's lots of things like that, or the one bedroom out of the house. You know, I don't think any of us are having an issue with that. Speaking personally, my main concern would be for an entire house that would otherwise be occupied by
Yeah.
a family, whether it's a long-term rental or an ownership, don't care, but someone who's in here for the longer term. That's what I think we want to see in the village.
Right. And that's clearly a land use concern, in my opinion. So, because we're talking about land available for residents.
Yeah.
Okay, well, would you like to make the motion with your comments in it?
With my comments.
With your additional recommendations?
Well, I think the main recommendation we're saying is to change the R1, the E, R1, R2, R3 to special use,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Is there any need for other language there?
No, I don't think
don't
so.
think
It'd be just if we wanted to provide additional guidance with our, but I mean, on the other hand, you know, Franco is here and he
Yeah.
will be writing up a summary.
I would hope that with the summary and minutes that
Yeah.
everything is there, but
Yeah.
In the summary, you want to recommend to the board and the provisions to the license? Is that-
No.
No?
No, we're not gonna, I don't think we're.
I don't think we have enough information to
Yeah.
get into that.
And I think that's a general, you know, a general stance I'd like us to, you know, I think there should only be one place making like the compromises. You know, we can give a recommendation, but they'll have all the information. They can take us as a data point.
So my summary is the motion.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep the permitted in the Bs
Okay.
and then special uses in the
Yes.
E through
Yes, and yeah, I guess everything else is more or less a reason why we decided to do that
And
and
that's
why
just
we're a little.
residential.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Well-
that's the stuff that if it comes to us for a special use, we'll have to bat around what type of building it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we can handle that as it comes.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really great that we're getting this on here because, you know, like we said, it not being on here meant there was no oversight. So getting it on, you know, and really all we would needed to do is put it permitted or special use in one zone. But we're doing that, so we're good. Okay, well then I'll do,
Do you want me to make the motion?
go ahead.
I will make the motion that Planning and Zoning Historic Commission approve the,
Recommend for.
I'm sorry, recommend for approval,
Yeah.
the request of village staff as stated with the change to E, R1, R2, and R3 residence districts as special use. Does that cover it?
I second it.
Yep.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brown.
Yes. Fantastic. Okay, that concludes our new business. As we have no other business, we'll
Well,
move.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Other business?
Um,
Just about that timing.
yes, I had asked about that.
Sorry.
We missed
I'm
it on
sorry
the
I
agenda.
didn't.
Remember I sent it like 6 weeks ago
Sorry about that.
about having a discussion again about
6
the
o'clock.
6 versus 6:30.
Oh, we could talk about it in other business.
We can?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
It's administrative.
yeah, okay. So Connie had brought up the request that we reevaluate moving our start time for this meeting back to 6 p.m. I'll just say, has everyone been happy with 6:30? Is 6:30? I know a big reason we did it was to help you with your
Yes.
commute.
And now I work from home, you know, so I left that big firm. I'm
Okay.
on my own now.
Okay.
So 6 o'clock it actually works out, so.
Okay.
Should we go?
Yeah.
Well,
It's kind of hard for me to make anything
6
earlier,
o'clock?
then,
depending on work.
well, so do you you prefer
Yeah.
6:30?
6:30.
Okay.
Okay. Charlie or John?
I'm fluid.
I don't care. We could have it at noon.
I
What do you say?
I'll be here.
I want to make
I could go for 5 too, but
So do I have a head nod to have the board amend the resolution for the start time as 6 p.m.?
I mean, you can do 6?
It depends. In the summertime, it's kind of tough for me. I'd prefer to leave it at 6:30.
well, I don't wanna be, that one person that
Mm-hmm.
makes them rush.
Yeah.
Not be here. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I-
fine. We'll leave it 6:30, but I'm just gonna be tired.
There are times where we could cancel a meeting and then have a special meeting at 6 p.m.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about
for
that?
certain ones.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not best practices, but
If it's
it
going to be
can
long.
be done. If it's going to be long, you can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
But
in
it's
the
gonna be a
village.
long one?
With proper notices. I foresee a long one in February or
Oh,
March.
no.
Yeah.
Steve,
I do
Steve
too.
knows.
Yeah, well, because I know the village board does this sometimes, and then they'll bring in lunch. I mean, dinner.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
right.
was,
Then that's okay.
I was planning on having
I'm
a
okay
dinner
with
for
that.
that long one in either February or March.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on in February?
I can't discuss it here.
Oh.
It's a
Yeah.
long one.
Okay.
Can I bring something else on?
Yeah.
Depends what it is.
Yeah. If it doesn't line up as
If it's
administrative.
sure.
Oh, okay, well, maybe you could tell me. How many Section 8s do we have in East Dundee?
I don't have that information. I could
And
follow
why
up.
are we
I
allowing
could-
Section 8 in East Dundee?
You cannot, I can answer that.
Thank you.
Illinois law says that you cannot discriminate based on how someone pays for their rent. Section 8 is not a type of housing. Section 8 is a voucher that residents can use to pay for all or a portion of their homes. Now, it does not pay for, if you have a $6,000 home, it does not pay for $6,000 a month rent, it does not pay for that. but it does provide a fractional or total assistance depending on need and the actual rent.
Oh, they need it, a kitty corner for my house.
Yeah,
So I
it's
see it.
it's one of those things. I was just discussing with another client about residential housing that they're trying to build in the downtown, and they wanted to make it market rate, and they asked, can we put a covenant that says no Section 8? And there is Illinois law that says that
You can't do that?
you cannot, a landlord cannot discriminate, and we cannot, even a home rule community cannot force landlords to do something that would be illegal under state law. So.
Well, this person did buy the house, and he was doing Section 8. I mean, that's why he bought it, because he didn't want to have the hassle of renting. So he chose Section 8.
Yeah, I mean, he is
Himself,
renting,
yeah.
he is renting it, but he
Under
is,
Section
he is
8.
accepting tenants who
Yeah.
have Section 8
Form of payment.
vouchers.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
guarantee for payments.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it is, Section 8 benefits a whole lot of people. It can also cause issues when you have a concentration. It's often more of an issue with the landlord
Right,
than necessarily the tenants who use the Section 8. So.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank
No,
you.
it's a fair question, and it's a very misunderstood program, actually, so.
No, I kind
Okay.
of understand it. Thank you.
You understand the result of it, maybe, yeah. that's-
Yeah, they're happy there.
Okay, so any other business then?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I just have a report that there's no January meeting.
Okay, good, you know. That
No,
means that
no.
we're all up to date with
Yeah.
our work.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few irons in the fire, but there's just no January meeting as part of the
Yes.
regular meetings.
Okay, so you're expecting our next one to be in February?
Yes.
First week of February?
Yes, yes.
That could change for January, or?
No,
No.
the regular meetings are approved via resolution of the board, and January wasn't included on there due to the timing of the holidays,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because I think it's like
Oh, I have a question. You can't use the street yet?
the one out there,
Yeah.
that one? I don't, yeah, it's still closed.
Okay, because I turned.
You-
Is
it's-
it no?
I mean,
Yeah.
We'll talk after this.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So, any other, so no more staff reports?
That's it.
And I think here, we've never had to ask the attorney for a staff report, but
You could if you
Do
want.
you have anything to report?
Actually, I do have a
I've
fun.
been in meetings with
Okay.
Stu all day.
Well, I was going to report, although I don't think it actually impacts you guys, the People Over Parking Act.
Right.
So something that was very interesting in.
It doesn't, but yeah.
It doesn't, yeah.
But you definitely could share that.
Yeah, so, and I've been telling all my clients about this. In the transportation bill that was passed, that basically saved funding for the RTA, for PACE, Metra, and the CTA, the legislators stuck in a very interesting provision that basically said that if you're within a transit-served area, which would include any rail stop, Amtrak, Metra, CTA, or any two buses that have more than 15, an intersection of any two bus lines with more than 15-minute frequency, which I don't think East Dundee has, that basically all parking minimums within a half mile are eliminated. And yeah, so you can imagine every community in Illinois that has a metro station, an Amtrak station, one of these days they're going to expand it to boat docks. If you had a real ferry. And so a lot of communities are now dealing with the fact that their parking minimums for their downtowns, for residential at least, have been preempted completely. And so I've had a lot of uncomfortable discussions.
How about snow ordinances?
Yeah.
Anything over 2 I've seen signs, anything above 2 inches. you
Yeah,
cannot
this
park.
was not about street parking. It was
Got
for
it.
requiring for residential developments,
On
saying you have to
site.
have a minimum
Yeah.
amount of parking.
Yeah.
That's always
It's
hard.
like a condo building.
A condo
Mostly
building?
residential?
Yeah, it was strictly residential,
Okay.
not commercial.
Like
But it was,
townhomes.
yeah, townhomes.
I deal with a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a
So I know
question of-
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so, apartments, it was trying to dissuade them from overbuilding parking in places where people might be able to take the train or a bus or some other.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's
That's great.
and As someone who likes new urbanism, I think it's kind of cool that they did that. The fact that no one knew it was happening
Yeah, that's
kind of speaks against the democratic principle in my mind a little bit.
I'll reserve my comments.
Yeah.
I mean,
They-
we have a
Yeah.
bus service, right?
Yeah, so
And-
what, 15-minute increments, so pace,
But
I.
But it would have to be an intersection of two lines, both having 15
Oh,
minutes.
Right.
2 lines.
So
okay.
it really
Either
is.
72 and
It
25.
really is a
Right.
Chicago
72 and
thing.
31. Well,
Yeah.
that's west, Dundee.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
places that, might have a transit center. There are suburban places that,
Yeah.
really count as like transit served because they're hubs for trains, buses.
Yeah.
Like
and
Niles has the free bus.
Yeah.
Goes through their whole,
Interesting.
Yeah.
The city gives a bus.
yeah, free bus, yeah.
I didn't
Nice.
know Niles did that. Mhm.
That's my
Thank you.
report.
Cool points.
Thank you very much.
But
Thank
is
you.
that in effect or as of January 1st?
As of the governor signing it, I think it's on his desk and he is going to sign it, but they were giving a little bit of time.
Yeah, last year I had an 18-unit project, unit building, and we needed 18 parking spots.
Mhm.
Plus, you have to have that handicap, which is even bigger.
Yeah, and in certain places, it's completely overbuilding.
It would, yeah, I agree.
But,
Mhm.
in the suburbs, especially places like this, it doesn't
Yeah.
impact it, and it would be very difficult.
Right.
So, yeah. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait a second.
Or we move? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll move it.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Myers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd,
Yes.
Chair Brunner.
Yes.
You gotta have to
What
have
was in
that.
there?
So, yeah, it looks like our bus route is once an hour.
So we're good for a little while at least.
Yeah, and it's only one. It's
No.
only one.